Ivan, in life, you often get what you pay for.
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
This is DIY Detail. We're entitling this one Fixing a $200 Detail. We don't know if they actually paid $200, but it wasn't much more than that, and it definitely was not worth that much. Follow me around, I'll show you what I see. Now this one I could actually see from the driver's seat, and that is, look at this vent. They used a very, very caustic solution, and you can tell it sat in these holes. And by sitting in these holes, created these white lines around here. They've damaged this plastic, so we're gonna need to use Restore and Protect on this for the plastic. Next, there's water spots everywhere. And those water spots, they may or may not have been there before, but they obviously didn't treat them. And if you look here, we can see they've either applied a wax or they've polished at some point, because on the wiper arm, you can see where the pad has gone and hit here, and they didn't take care of that. Again, if you're doing a detail, if you don't have the time to take care of these things, you need to charge more. And you can see the level of water spotting below the wiper arm versus above the wiper arm. There's a distinct demarcation there.
Oh, I can feel it under my fingers. That's not moving, Ivan.
Yeah, no, that's heavy, heavy water spotting. We may or may not be able to get rid of that. That heavy water spotting is from someone taking a garden hose at home and just spraying the car down. A lot of this is caused by that. So it could have been caused by the previous owner, could have been caused by the detailer, but this was definitely caused by the detailer. Now, come back to this vent, Nick. I mentioned wax or compound residue. Take a look around the ends of this. You can see the residue build up all around here, all around that edge. Down in here, you can see the residue build up as well. All things that we're gonna address. Moving back on the vehicle, you can see in here, beautiful, straight, nice body lines, and in the bottom of the body line, we got some white junk again. So you have to make sure that all that is cleaned out. Let's go down the side just a little bit here. Look at this vent, same thing. Looks like they got wax on here in a few areas. This water spotting is phenomenal. That could be an art piece almost. But we're gonna clean that up. As we move further back the vehicle, again, those little residues that are everywhere. Right here, look at these two little plastic pieces. Doesn't take much to get rid of that residue, but it's there. Don't leave residue like that when you're working. And we'll show you how to get rid of that as we move along. There seems to be some etching here, and it might be a little more difficult to pick up on camera, but we're gonna do our best. We can see in here all this streaking, and it's all down this side of the vehicle. And it looks like up here, very, very, something caustic really stayed there. Now, a bird dropping can do that, but we know these aren't from a bird dropping. Again, we're going to address this. It might come off in the cleaning, but we're gonna have to polish this vehicle because of the deep water spot etching. Lots of white residue here. That's easy to take care of. It doesn't take a lot of work, but it's not something that's professional. Around the Mercedes emblem, again, we have white residue in all little cracks. And around the third brake light, same thing, all the way around, there's a little line of white residue. These are very, very simple things to take care of, and they should be done with the detail. If your detailer is leaving stuff like this behind, or if you're leaving stuff like this behind, let's get to the wash, Nick, and educate them how to not leave it behind.
Ivan, we have the problems very clearly displayed.
Yeah.
The question is, what's our plan of attack?
Our plan of attack is all clean on all those areas that we had that buildup of residue. And iron remover. Now, iron remover, I've looked at the wheels. We didn't identify those in the picture, but you'll see as soon as I spray this iron remover on, they're gonna go red. So normally we put all clean on first. This time I'm putting the iron remover on first because I know how badly infected these wheels are.
All right, let's see it in action, Ivan. So how much of this can folks at home just go ahead and plug and play, do exactly what we're doing? Or should they identify the issues before doing it this way?
It's always good to know what you're dealing with, but all of this works. So whether, as I said, I think it's a little red now.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
purple red like a milkshake or a, what'd you call that?
Blueberry ice cream.
Blueberry ice cream.
Blueberry swirl.
Something in the dairy family.
Yeah. And the tire shine on this is a very resistant, oily tire shine. You can see the all clean is actually beating up on the tires. They have such an oily residue on them.
Wow.
But we can also see how the wheels are reacting here. So let me get a little of the all clean inside the wheel so that when we rinse it, we're good to go.
And why we use a foamer versus a sprayer is an interesting discussion. I think it's worth bringing up because we sell all clean in our ready-to-use 16-ounce bottle, already properly diluted. In a foam, though, I feel like it cleans better.
It does. It attacks the dirt. Every time a bubble bursts, we're getting fresh all clean on the surface. And I'm going to do these vents that we mentioned before because they're a little on the nasty side.
Spraying all clean like that, willy-nilly I might even call it, although I know it's not that, would not be advisable in direct sunlight.
No.
So just be careful. If you're in a controlled setting, that's one thing. If you're outside, try to do this in the morning or the evening after the sun has gone down, just because all clean is a very powerful chemical, Yvan.
Yeah, definitely. So we don't want to abuse it, but in this case, this vehicle needs it.
Yeah, essentially you just don't want anything to dry on the paint.
Yeah.
Whether you're inside or in sunlight.
Now we have our wheels covered.
Yep.
We still have these emblems back here that were just layered in residue. So we'll get those. We had all these little areas here and there and there and up here and down here and around the mirror that were just encrusted in we don't know what. It could have been a wax residue.
I was just seeing if there was any inside the gas cap here.
Oh, while we're there, we'll get it.
Do I want to close that back up?
No, leave it open.
Okay.
So Nick, I know you enjoy using a foam cannon.
Yes, sir.
Now's your time.
Incredible Suds. You know what time it is. The only advice I have besides have fun is shake up your Incredible Suds in there. Sometimes it'll be so thick it stays there at the bottom, it doesn't mix properly. Give it a good mix, a good shake, a spin for good luck, and off to Foam Town.
Now Nick, a few things. I know you're young and you haven't built up that flexibility that us older people have. But the bottom of the bumper and the corner of the bumper, you might want to hit those, and the rocker panel. So get down a little lower to get that.
Here we go. We teach the foam rinse foam method. And I'd be curious to get your thoughts. What is more important, the first foam or the second foam?
The first foam is the one that's doing the most work. The second one is there for lubrication. In this case, we know we have all that built up residue around the vents and stuff like that. We don't know exactly what it is. And a lot of detailers at this point would be tempted to reach into their bucket, grab their little brush, and start brushing that. We're gonna wait. We're gonna let the foam do its job. We're letting the Incredible Suds emulsify that and get the grit off the paint. We don't wanna take a brush to gritty paint. Then, once we rinse it, it's gonna be just a quick rinse, we'll foam it again. Now we have the additional lubrication we need to get to those little things, and then we can take that fine brush to get in and around those to lift that residue off. Hopefully it lifts the residue off. If not, we're gonna have to do it in a future decontamination step.
How about you go ahead and rinse off? I know being meticulous with the rinse off is important. What is your strategy for rinsing off? I have a very critical role here, and that is the squeegee master, so I'm gonna get to that, but maybe talk through like where you decide to start rinsing.
I like to start at the top, work my way down, and at the same time, this doesn't need to be an extremely thorough rinse. So we're gonna go a little quick with the rinse, but make sure that we are getting everywhere. That's the important thing. Now, again, around those vents where we have a lot of buildup, there I'll be rinsing a little more, and the wheels I'll be rinsing a little more. The reason we want to rinse the wheels more is before we go in there with a brush, we know there's a heavy accumulation of brake dust in there. If we go in there with a brush, all we're doing is scratching that brake dust around. We want to rinse all the loose stuff off the surface beforehand. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Now around those problem areas, I went rather close with my pressure washer gun. And it's actually done a fairly good job. I still see some residue there, so we're gonna need to use the brush, but it did dislodge some of that, which is great. That is the Incredible Suds doing its job.
And the all clean, right?
Yeah.
I told you I'm the squeegee master, Ivan. I have a very important job here and I take it seriously.
Well, in that case, I'll foam it up again.
There you go.
He's not acting. He really enjoys the squeegee.
I don't know why, but I really do.
Now, if you're done squeegeeing, Nick, maybe a little more Incredible Suds on those wheels and iron remover. They could use it.
And basically just use whatever's left in your foam cannon, right? That's what we say? Ivan, you've become me in the foam happy category.
Well, foaming is fun. Now, actually I haven't put any soap in the bucket yet, so let me add just a cap full of soap.
Yeah, how much soap do you recommend? How much can you get away with in the actual wash bucket? I know you're a minimalist.
Yeah, a cap full is really all you need.
But if you do a cap full and you don't use the pressure washer in there, because you're about to see what Ivan likes to do, you might be like, maybe I need more Incredible Suds for better foam. Just agitate it. Get that volcano going with your pressure washer in the bucket.
You know, just moving this around, we're already in great suds.
But I wouldn't call those great. I'm just saying the potential
is there.
Now, how about use the tip without that, just to show them that half an ounce is adequate, because you're adding more soap, and I want the people to see what's really possible with just the capful.
I get the nozzle back out here.
This is a test, Ivan.
Here we go. I think that's sufficiently sudsy.
That's way good. I also put some Incredible Suds in the wheel bucket as well. A great idea to have some kind of wash solution, whether it's rinseless wash, Incredible Suds, or even all clean. In my wheel bucket. I never mind that either. I'm not super particular, Ivan. I don't know, do you have a preference on what product to put in your brushes in that wheel bucket?
Whichever one you prefer, the rinseless or the Incredible Suds, both do a good job. Now, we have a little bit of all clean. I'm gonna add a little more to the wheels, Nick.
Okay.
Just to...
What about some iron remover before we agitate?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. After the all clean or before? Well, after.
Does that answer your question?
Yep. All right, I'll give you a few sprays of iron remover here on your side as well. Oh, these wheels are nasty, Ivan.
Yeah, they are.
Look at what is coming out of these barrels.
Now the wheel that's, wow, this dirty. I'm not gonna go around in a circle. I'm actually gonna start at the top and work my way down one side, then start at the top again and work my way down the other side. The reason for that is going around a circle, I'll take all this heavy dirt and bring it back up to the surface, something I don't want to do.
I'm trying to avoid splatter coming back to me, so I'm very gentle as I pull out of the barrel.
Our brush may look very old school, Nick, and it is to a point, but the Tampico fibers don't bounce back like some of the synthetic fibers and cause you to get soaked in dirty tire juice.
Yeah, we've tried a few of them, haven't we, Ivan? And we really like ours the best.
Just when you're pulling it out of the wheel, just go slowly and you won't be wearing what's in the wheel. Now, because of how dirty that is, I'm actually gonna take my wash mitt and just add a little more to the surface. Find my wheel and body brush in here, just happily floating around. Yeah, these wheels have definitely seen a better day.
You know, they're dirty, Ivan, but they're cleaning up really nice.
Yeah, it's just an accumulation.
And you'd be surprised, this wheel and body brush, this green one, does a great job on tires as well. I know we're used to that stiff bristle brush for tire walls, and that's something that I highly encourage you to use if you've got it, but wheel and body brush is actually super versatile in that way too.
Yeah, and in this case, I'm not a big fan of that stiff brush normally, but these wheels, the tire dressing that they used on this, I don't know what it is, but it's very, very, how can I put it? Greasy, oily?
It seems like it's a tire coating, like it doesn't feel like, it looks like it's water beading almost.
Judging by the amount of sling that was on the side of the car, Nick, I think it's just greasy. Now, take a look at this river of stuff floating here. Nick is cleaning his wheels on the other side. I haven't cleaned this wheel yet, and look what's coming out here.
Is that just German brakes for you, or what's going on here?
It's a combination of things, but the brakes definitely have a bit of a say in that. Yeah, a beautiful, beautiful brown river of stuff floating out here. I'm just gonna squeegee the river out of my way. Now, those of you concerned about all this stuff going down the drain, it's a legitimate concern. This was a mechanic shop before, and in that shop, they had what's called a triple trap. So it's designed to catch the oils, the sediment, and everything that we have without bringing it down to the sanitary sewer system.
You just don't have much to contend with once you've done foam rinse and foam. Like, I can just feel the wash mitt gliding. It's picking up some traffic film, Ivan, but it's really not contending with a bunch of crud. We've got most of it.
Exactly. I've never seen the wheel bucket get so dirty so quickly.
Yeah, you're hanging out down there, man. You must be really going for it.
Come take a look at the river of dirt floating out of the wheels and tires from your side and from this side.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet. It's all going downhill. So, Ivan, one thing I have in my wash bucket is our wheel and body brush. Now, this was not in my wheel bucket. It's in my wash bucket. We have foam, we have rinse, we have foam. This is a dedicated clean one, but it is soft enough it's not going to damage paint. It's also working incredibly well on these vents. I'm using no pressure whatsoever. Now, one thing you can do, if the panel has dried up on you a little bit, because I already did it on these on the grill down there, the plastics, and it worked incredibly well. I'm just going to give myself more lubrication. So let's just say I'm doing my contact wash here, Ivan. I'll do my half of the hood, no pressure whatsoever, leveraging our amazing car wash soap. All right, I'll stop there for now. I already did the windshield, and lots of lubrication there, lots of soap here, mitigating any potential risks. I'm just letting the bristles, along with the chemical, get in between all of those little fins, and it's doing a great job.
Yeah, and that's going to be a lot faster than this little brush here.
I'm happy to let you borrow this one.
No, I just want to show people the difference in technique and time.
Okay.
So they have both at their disposition.
I think I'm pretty done here, yeah.
We're here to learn, so.
Yep.
But yeah, the larger brush definitely, and it's actually a slightly stiffer, so this is really weird. The end of that brush is actually softer than this one, but the bristle itself is a little stiffer. It's a flag tip nylon brush, meaning the end is like split ends, if I can put it that way. Whereas this, it's a soft bristle all the way through. So it doesn't have the strength. So I'm having to actually put a little more weight on it to get into those areas where Nick is just floating it across the surface.
If you'd like to use that.
Yeah, much better.
You know, it's freshly detailed, Ivan, so I think the detailer that did this might have put a wax on there. I mean, the paint actually feels pretty decent.
Yeah.
It's just those big errors that they're small areas, but they're big errors.
Right. You know, detailing is all about the details, and it's those little things that can take you from a, wow, that was a great detail, down to, ooh, they screwed up on this one.
Yep. Some might think we're done, Ivan, after the contact wash, but you and I both know better.
There's more to come.
Welcome to the wonderful world of the perforated synthetic decontamination towel. It's not clay, but you may see it on our website as a clay towel.
SEO obliges. Search engine optimization. People search for the term clay. We want them to find our towel, so we have to call it a clay towel.
What is the most important technique, Ivan, advice for folks, besides I would say flip it into fours?
Yep.
You know, what's the best advice? That's what I did. Flip it into fours. This was sitting in my wash bucket. We're decontaminating the paint, so we're trying to go after the stuff that didn't come off in the wash. Of course, you can't see it on black paint, Ivan. So, you know, biggest technique mistakes or things that you like to point out to folks with the decon towel.
No pressure whatsoever. And lots and lots and lots of lubrication.
One panel, one side, and then go ahead and flip your towel. That's a good general rule for folks out there.
Did you do the SL 450 emblem there, Nick, with the brush?
Not with the brush, no. Thank you for reminding me. I just did more of a contact wash there.
Let me add a little more lubrication there.
Okay.
Out of my wash mitt. If we're lucky, it's all going to come out. And using good technique, is a little better than just hoping for luck.
And the panel needs lubrication, as Ivan mentioned. So I'm actually going to do the same thing I did on that hood that it kind of dried up on me before I washed. And I'm going to give myself lubrication from my car wash sponge here, from this mitt. I call it a sponge, but we have a legacy sponge that we use a lot for rinseless washing, Ivan.
Yeah. And there is a bit of foam in there, so it can be used as a mitt. It can also be used as a wash pad. Some people like to refer to it.
Don't forget, Ivan, to decontaminate the glass when it comes to the decon step.
Right. One spray on the towel, one on the panel, and enjoy. Now this has a complete glass roof on it.
I'm just gonna go where those water spots are and just see if abrading it with the decon towel does anything, Ivan. I just don't know what's gonna happen with those water spots that were under the wiper, so I'm trying some things.
Right. Now actually that does help a little bit. So the abrasion does part of it, and then the water spot remover will hopefully do a lot of the heavy lifting there. And finally, well, we may have to polish.
Yeah, we'll do a final inspection.
If you want to lift that wiper arm up just a little bit, I'll get in there as well.
You can feel it, right? It feels like it's moving them.
Yeah. That's just a very heavy accumulation of calcium, water spots, however you want to look at it.
Folks might be tempted to use pressure to go after things that might be stuck on their paint, Ivan, with this decon towel. What's your advice for them?
Resist the temptation.
What's the alternative?
Go over another pass or two. And if it's iron contamination you're dealing with, go over the surface, let it sit for a few minutes, go around the rest of the car where it's not as contaminated, and come back to that more contaminated spot.
If you feel like you're running out of lubrication, do you spray more iron remover or do you try to get more incredible suds?
A little more incredible suds. Using more iron remover is expensive. The incredible suds is inexpensive, it's highly diluted, but highly lubricious at the same time. Whereas the iron remover, other than a ceramic coating, is the most expensive chemical we have in our line. So you don't want to be overusing it. And honestly, it doesn't do a better job if you put more on.
Isn't more always better, Ivan?
When you're talking about ice cream, of course. When you're talking about wash chemicals, no. Our floor here is designed to go anywhere but the drain, and that's what it's doing. That's why we have to squeegee so often. So even though we have a drain, and we still have to deal with water on the floor.
Just for a recap, water spot remover all over the paint, use a rinseless wash or incredible suds dampened towel, to lightly agitate everywhere, and then you rinse, Ivan.
Exactly. And in doing so, we now have a decontaminated surface.
We haven't rinsed yet, so I gotta keep squeegeeing.
Yep.
It's getting humid in here. It's getting a little pungent with many odors of decon chemicals. This is sort of our final inspection process. Are the water spots superficial and they're now gone? Are they still there? Basically, we would use a drying aid at this point, Ivan.
Right.
Except, we don't know if we're gonna be polishing. We don't wanna use something that's gonna lay down some protection if we might have to polish.
So Nick, we will have to polish.
You see it already?
Yeah.
Now, are we gonna just spot treat this on horizontal areas where they have water spots, or are we just gonna polish the whole vehicle?
We're gonna polish the whole vehicle. We're not gonna do a very in-depth polish, but we are gonna polish. This vehicle has been polished before. We know that from all the compound residue we just washed off. And not knowing what's been done to it before, we're gonna proceed with caution. Now, it's very humid in the shop, so we're getting the excess water off, but there's still a lot of moisture on the car.
Oh yeah, those streaks back here are still here.
Yeah.
So that's what we need to polish off.
Right. So those chemical etching streaks that we saw before, we didn't know if it was residue from just bad washing and soap, but those are actually chemical etching.
So we need to polish.
We need to polish.
Got it.
Nick, it's dry. Now it's time to polish. But we're gonna come back to that in another video. There's a lot going on with this. We're gonna be needing to do plastic restore and protect on these because they're burnt. And there's all sorts of other little things. So we'll introduce you to this car again in the next video. You'll see what we're doing. But in the meantime, what could I watch?
Oh my gosh, Ivan. You're gonna wanna watch this video, and in the meantime, we'll see you there.